This video we're going to look at an axonometric question. So here it tells us that the 3D graphic below shows an exterior light. Okay, so we have a 3D graphic here of an outside light, and that they're sticking a little hexagonal pyramid there on the top of it. Okay, so in the cap on the right, a regular hexagonal prism penetrates a square base pyramid. So almost like a cap here is our square base pyramid, and a hexagonal prism goes down into that then. So figure B2 shows the incomplete isometric projection. Okay, so that's the isometric projection. So using the axonometric axis method, so it's axonometric, which means the angle between them all are the same. So that's 120, that's 120, and this one over here will also be 120. Okay. So the plan and incomplete elevation are shown in the required positions, so our elevation here and our plan here. Okay, so we have a plan here, and this here is incomplete. It tells there the elevation is incomplete. Okay, pictorial view of the intersecting solid is also shown. That's the pictorial view in the middle. So we have a fair bit of that already given to us. Okay, but obviously we'll have to redraw it. So draw the axonometric axis X, Y, and Z, and the equilateral triangle ABC, which has a side of 110. Okay, so we can see there our x-axis, our y-axis being the vertical one, and our z-axis here. Okay, and our axonometric triangle, which is here in the middle, our equilateral triangle, A, B, and C. Okay, so all those sides going to have the same length, and the length that we can see, we get at the bottom there, tells us as well, it's 110. So that's the first thing we do. Make sure we label our axis and label our triangle when we have that done. Right, we'll get marks for that. And then draw the plan, and incomplete elevation is shown. So basically draw our plan and draw this up here. Part C, then complete the drawing showing all lines of interpenetration. So there's a little bit of interpenetration put into it there as well, in the axonometric projection and in the elevation. Right, so they want us to show that line there basically. Okay, so there's a little bit of interpenetration detail there involved in it. Okay, and we'll have a look now at how to solve that and how to locate that. So we'll drive on first of all, we're lining out our X, Y, and Z axis and our equilateral triangle there, ABC. Okay, so the first one I'm going to put in there, I'm going to position my Y axis on my vertical axis. Okay, so I know there's not going to be much over to the left it is drawn, so I can just put that in there. So that's my Y axis, or my vertical axis there. Okay, so after that then I'm going to put my X and my Z axis, and they're just lines at 30 degrees. Okay, 30 degrees coming down this way, and 30 degrees coming down the other way. So I have my Y, my vertical one, my Z just there, and my X axis. Now I know on the drawing that the distance between here and here should be 110. So I'm going to measure that out. I'm just going to put a light horizontal line going there, and I'm going to measure out my 110 centered on my Y axis, which is 55 then either side of that Y axis, and then I'm going to drop that down. Okay, so there's the bottom of that there. And this is going to be going up then at my 60 degrees for my point C. Okay, so there's not much involved in doing that. Of course, as I said, we have to label it. That's my y-axis. This is going to be my z-axis. And this over here, just try and keep it level. Over there, it's going to be my x-axis. Now I project up my other views. So I'm projecting this one basically up at 30 degrees up this way for my elevation. So I'm just going to project up that up there at 30 degrees. And I project up the two outsides as well of my triangle. Okay, so basically what I'm doing over here is folding that triangle out flat almost and draw my elevation view up there. Okay, so this line then is going to go up at 60 degrees again. Now, where that center line that I projected back up here meets my line here, that's where I draw my semicircle from, and that'll give me my 90 degrees then to lay out my elevation. Okay, so it's where that cuts there. So there's no measuring really involved here because it's the axonometric. It's nice and handy, and it's just in the center of that semicircle, or the center of that line will give me the center for my semicircle. Okay, so I can draw my semicircle in there straight away, and that will give me my 90 degrees. So the angle in a semicircle is always 90. That will give me my 90 degrees there to start drawing in my elevation. Okay, and I'm going to just outline the same now for my plan. I'm going to drop it down, and I'm going to outline the same type of semicircle with the same 90 degrees. Now I realize at this stage that's definitely going to catch me space-wise here on the bottom of the page. So I'm going to take it off, I'm going to move this further up, and then I'm going to do my construction again after that. So now it's a bit of change around the sheet there. The handiest thing to do is just change the portrait, and I fit it in then, no bother. Okay, so my equilateral triangle in the middle, XYZ axis in the middle, elevation is going to go here, my plan is going to go here. So just looking at the plan of that is based on a square base pyramid, and that's the sides basically of one of the squares there. Or that's the side of the square. So all I'm going to do is just finish that off there. Okay, so it's going to go down as far as there, and the two of them then will meet along the center of it like so. Okay, just putting that into position there. And finish off the center points of that. And the one is done for the middle of it. Okay, now the middle of that then we have a hexagon. Okay, we know that one point of the hexagon finishes there. Okay, along a center line that will be going. It gives us measurements for that. The length of the side of the hexagon is 30. So basically it is easy enough now to do it. After that I can just set my compass to my 30. I'm going to mark off one of my points, and then I'll just be able to tick the rest off then around with my compass. Okay, the length of the side of it is 30, so I can just mark off 30s around the circle that I'm going to put there first, and the radius of the circle is also going to be 30, the same as the side there. Okay, if I wanted, I could step out my, say that's 30 there, then 15 and 15, and I could come up and mark it off. No real need to go into that trouble. So I'll just put in that line first. Okay, so that's that center line going across there. Okay, I'm going to set my compass now. Put a little mark on this first to show me, and I'll set my compass off that then. So a little mark 30 millimeters from the center out, and then I can use my compass, set it to that distance. Okay, set it to that 30, and I can draw my circle then. Okay, so my hexagon now is going to go around. I know one point is going to be here on it. Okay, so I can use that then from there around to tick off the rest of the points there for that hexagon. Okay, so just keep putting the compass on each point where the arcs cut that circle, and that's going to give me the other points on that one is there anyways. It's going to give me all the other points on that there. Okay, now we could have just as easily, when I mark one off, I suppose I could have just dropped that straight down. Okay, and it should be directly underneath it then. The same for this guy over here, should be directly underneath it. Okay, and then these are the other two on it, so I can just join those up. So join that up with my 45 degrees, because that's the way it's meant to be when it's finished, and it is. So I can just join that straight up there. Okay, so there's my hexagon drawn there in the middle of my plan, and I'm going to go up now to my elevation. And I need to look at what we're told for the elevation. Okay, so you know that the pyramid basically starts here, goes up to a point here at the middle portion of that hexagonal prism, and it goes back down into this corner. So we have this line already. We want to basically locate the rest of it then after that. Okay, so we want to deal with this point here where the pyramid goes up to that point, and it's in the very center of our hexagonal prism. And we're also given a little clue there that this is in line. Here's a little projection line that will show the top of that is in line if we were to go out here the same basic direction as this here, okay, the top of that is in line with the bottom of that, and this here is our center line to show that this point here is in the center of this line. So we basically just project 90 degrees to that line, and we'll be able to get that point by going straight across from here. Okay, and after that then, it is simple enough. This is 30 wide, it's all centered, so this is 15 and 15, and this is 15 and 15. Now we do have to do a little bit of construction here, and we should know this from our junior cert graphics. Okay, so I've that outline there, that's my top line going across, and the two bottom lines here, they will go down until they hit actually the edge of that pyramid almost we're about. So they're hitting the edge of that pyramid there, as it is over here. Okay, so that's corrected there. So it goes down, hits the edge of the pyramid here. I'm not sure where these lines coming down here will stop yet. I will have to find it here, and I'll bring it up, and then I'll be able to mark it off. Okay, so now we need to worry about our axonometric view in the middle. So this is just a matter really of projecting points around. Okay, now we should always get in the habit of labeling stuff. So if I say for almost the center of my period, or the apex, the peak of it is going to be called 0. I'm also going to call it 0 up here. Okay, 4 corners at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right there now. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4 going around it like that. And I do the same then for the drawing up here. So this point here, as I'm looking at it from that direction, is going to be point 4 and point 1. Okay. So that's going to be 4, 1. And this is going to be 3, 2 over here. Okay, and we have our apex as being 0. So basically I project up from 4, out from 4, and I have my point. Up from 3, out from 3, up from 2, out from 2, up from 1, and out from 1. And that gives me my shape up here. Same for the top point, which I will do as well. So up from 0 and out from 0, and that'll give me my points. Okay, so I have my projections carried up there. Most of them are already done for me anyway. And it outlines my pyramid. So this corner here being the bottom corner, that's 3. This is 4. This corner here is 2. And the corner 1 there is at the back. Now we can't actually see the edge 4, 1 when we're looking at it, right? It's not a glass object or that. We can't see the edge 4, 1, and we can't really see the edge 1, 2 either. Okay, and that's 3, 0. So from the apex, or from the point of the pyramid down to corner 3, point of the pyramid down to 4, point of the pyramid down to 2. Now what I'm actually going to do now at this stage is I'm going to work out, I'm going to find my hexagon at the top there for the moment. Okay, so this is kind of the object I'm going for. I'm now going to find my hexagon lined out at the top of my object up here. So the very same thing again, then I'm going to number up my points. I'm actually going to label them here in my letters. So my ABC is already gone with my triangle. So I'm going to go D, E, F, G, H, and I. So up at this view I want to label the same one. So I, okay, I then is my outside guy here. Okay, so D, and down here is H. That's going to be these points here, but as I look at it here, it's going to be H and D. And then the ones over here we have, as we look at it, it's going to be G and E. And then my outside one here again, okay, it's my F. So again, it's going to be F up here, okay, in my elevation. So same thing, projecting down at 30, projecting up at 30 here, and wherever the same lines meet, we join them up. Okay, so that there is the top of my hexagon lined out, exactly as it is there in that question. Okay, on that little bit of solution to give there. So I've lined that out, projecting down points from here, projecting up points on plan. After that, now I'm going to drop down the edges of that straight down along, and I won't know where they crash into that face yet, but then I'll be able to establish these lines in 1 minute. Small little bit of interpenetration detail there. Okay, so just drop them straight down. already dropped down, I suppose, from the projections. Okay, just make them a little bit heavier. Now, so what I want to work on now is locating this line here. Okay, so I want to find out how exactly I'm going to do that. So basically in plan, if I used to extend that edge, okay, to hit that line, to hit that edge what I have called 40 at that point. Okay, so if I extend that over, hits it at that point, I can bring it up then and locate that point in my elevation, or sorry, in my axonometric view. So I extend that line to hit my edge 40, and I'm going to bring that straight up, and it hits my edge 40. Okay, so that's the location there of that point. Okay, so I know basically that edge now, okay, is along a line there. That line will be parallel to this edge here. Okay, so if I just transfer that up along, okay, so there's that line. Because that line I've drawn in there, I now have it drawn in my axonometric view here, and that's where that cuts off then. Okay, so that point there and that point there. And so that's the front face dealt with. Okay, just put that in there in a red so you can see it clearly. So here's that front face there dealt with. I'll just go around the rest of that in red. Now if we were to look at the next point, say on an actual proper edge, which would be the one from F down along. So where does this finish down along here? That's easy enough to find, because that crashes straight into that face there. And I can just project that straight down, there from my elevation, and it's going to cut that off for me. Okay, just get that out of the way. So just project down at my 30 degrees from my elevation, and that shows me it cuts it off right there. So again, I'll just put that in red as well. Okay, so that's that point found. That was grand, that was handy. Now, the next point that is this section here. So that's the turning point, as we would call it in interpenetration drawing. So that point right there, I want to find exactly where that is. Now, that's on the edge that I have called 0 down to 3, okay? So that'll be my point 3. That'll be my point 2. My point 4 is over here. My 1 is at the back. Okay, so that's my point 3. So that point there is on the edge 3, which is going up to the apex of my pyramid 0. It's on the edge 3, 0. Okay, so I want to go now and locate that point. So for that, what I'm going to do is very similar to what I've done here. I'm going to put in almost like a fake line going across. It's a real line in order to locate a point. So for that, I'm going to put in that line in my plan view first. So just look at that in our plan view first. I'm going to put in that line. Okay, so there's my line and plan. That's the point I'm looking for. That one over there I can't see in the drawing, so I'm not too worried about it. But I want to locate this point here. Okay, now if I just brought that straight up, it's not going to really work for me. Okay, so if I just bring that straight up, it just lines up along that line anyway, so it's not really much good. It's not really of any use. But when I have this point here, okay, I can bring that up to the edge 40, and again bring a line parallel to my lines that I have here already. Okay, so I'll bring up that point up to my edge 40. So that's on my edge 40 now here. Okay, and now I can transfer that line across parallel. And where that cuts through my edge 30, that is the point that I'm looking for. Okay, so I can now draw that in. I can draw that in there. because it goes back down along that face, back down to that point. So basically you can see here what I'm after finding at that point, and now I'm going to drop it back down to this guy here. Okay, what I want to find now is the corresponding point on the other side, and that's just going to be on a line going straight back there. Will be parallel to that one, so I'm just going to bring that straight back there like that, parallel. And that is on the edge 2, 0. Just double check it all the time. That's the point I'm looking for. Okay, and then it's basically just going to disappear then after that, because so this one will go all the way down past that face. Okay, and this edge then comes up and it just cuts in there. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight that there in a different color. So just two of them there clearly outlined, you should be able to see them clearly. That should go all the way to my hexagon shape. Now, after that, just finish off my elevation. All I need to do then is project from my axonometric up to my elevation to basically locate this line here. Okay, and then it'll slope up to that guy, and that'll be it from my elevation. Okay, so just project back up at my 30 degrees, back up into my elevation. Back up into my elevation at my 30 degrees. And that's going to give me the location of those points there. One was all I needed because it's basically level them with that line going across. So project it back up one, which is there. Make it level with my base. And project that across. Okay, and after that then I want to locate the location of this point here. So again, project it up until it hits my edge 3, 0, which is this point here. So just bring that straight up again the same way till it hits my edge 3, 0, which is here. And I will have one on the other side the same. So again, I can just project that up my ruler. They're all parallel lines. So that's the one on the other side. Okay, so that's my object lined out there. Okay, so I'm just going to go over that in a bit of colour. So to finish off my question, I would always make sure that my triangle and my axonometric axis is clearly visible. So I'm just going to put them in a bit of colour as well, as they do inside the question. Just a very sharp, light colour and pencil, and heavy mim with that. Just always finish off your drawing, label your elevation, going kind of the same direction of elevation, your axonometric view, and then down the bottom I also label up my plan.